fifth grade, I remember reading an article about African Americans, schools, and prisons. The article informed people of the fact that corporations were building prisons in relationship to third grade test scores and behavior issues. For some reason, this information stuck with me. According to the NAACP article entitled School to Prison Pipelines, more schools are becoming increasingly dependent on suspension, expulsion, and law enforcement for punishment. A prison pipeline is the practice of imposing a severe punishment on students that filters them from the classrooms and into prison systems. I am not here to persuade, only to inform, but knowing what a prison pipeline is could be beneficial to understanding the politics played when it comes to the children we deem our future. You may be wondering what I could possibly know about a prison pipeline, but aside from my research, I've actually lived the experience. My younger brother, Hickman, is a product of that pipeline. To understand the pipeline fully, it must be broken down into 3 points. The first is what a prison pipeline is. The second is who is targeted by the pipeline. And the third is how it can be tackled or handled. To tell you what a prison pipeline is, I will give you the story of Kiya. Kiya and his friends were in the boys' restroom playing a game of 30 seconds. This game consists of 2 boys punching each other as hard as they can in the chest and torso for, of course, 30 seconds. Somehow, this game got serious when one of the boys hit his head. This incident was treated like an actual fight rather than boys just being boys. Kiya was expelled from all Detroit public schools, and the mother of the boy injured pressed criminal charges. After all was said and done, Kiya was on probation and had already been out of school for months because he was expelled. Attending school was one of the terms of his sentencing. Once he entered high school, it was a downward spiral. Eventually, he was admitted into juvenile detention facilities in Detroit. He began to get home visits, but took advantage of his visits and went on the run. He is now 19 without a high school diploma and lives a life of crime. My friends, this is the prison pipeline. Now that you know what a prison pipeline is, I can tell you who the prison pipeline targets. According to the New York Civil Liberties Union, Black students represent 17% of students enrolled in public schools, but 34% of all suspensions in 2002. Special needs children make up 8.6% of public school students, but 32% of children in juvenile facilities nationwide. American Progress states that from the school year of 2009 to 2010, 96,000 students were arrested in school. 70% were Black and Latino. The prison pipeline sends the nation's most vulnerable youth into a life of crime. Like Kenneth, once in the system, it can be hard for students to make their way out of it. Rachel Wolf of the American Progress, citing from the Council of State Government Justice Center, states that for many students of color, suspension and expulsions are the first step towards time behind bars. Students who are suspended or expelled for even one discretionary violation in Texas were 2.85 times more likely than their peers to be in contact with the juvenile justice system within the following year. She also adds that more than 1 in 4 African American students and nearly 1 in 5 Hispanic students were disciplined 11 or more times during the 6-year study period. Now that you know who is targeted, I can tell you ways to combat the issue. Though prison pipelines are in full effect, there are methods to combat against them. One method could fall on the government. They could fund schools more and enact laws that protect children from these practices. School districts and educators could keep law enforcement out of schools and use more rehabilitating methods in correcting behavior. The New York Civil Liberties Union also provides these forms of solution in combating prison pipelines. They state that school districts could begin exploring successful non-punitive discipline models such as peer mediation, conflict resolution, guidance counseling, mentoring, and parental community involvement initiatives to reduce conflicts in schools. They also state that schools could allow students to have a role in designing school disciplinary codes. Now that you understand what a prison pipeline is, you can decide your view on the matter. In conclusion, the prison pipeline method is the process of removing students from classrooms into prison systems. This practice targets minorities, and the pipeline can also be dismantled. A prison pipeline is the practice of imposing a more severe punishment on students that filters them out of schools and into prison systems. Today, I have informed you all on prison pipelines and how they aid in dismantling children who we call the future. Thank you.